Okay, so we're right back into another Dragon Ball Super deck profile, and this one is with the real champ for set 5. That is the Draft Box Hercule. I've been playing this deck for a while, and I figured why not just give out the deck. It's really just for fun. It is something that is just very much of a hyper glass cannon aggro deck, going in as much as you can, and it's really for the memes, but people are really not prepared for this. Like if your deck isn't set up to be defensive and to get rid of different threats and to defend against it, you kind of lose. You really just lose over the overwhelming sort of power, which is very ironic for this man, the real man, the champ, the guy who saved the world many a times. And there's no surprise as far as that goes when coming to this deck. So I'm going to do the same sort of format as last time. If you haven't checked out the Green Goku Draft Box 3 leader deck profile, go check that one out. I'm doing the same sort of thing here. If you don't like it, well, let me know in the comments below. I am definitely going to be doing more wish leaders in the coming week. So within this week, I will be doing more and more deck profiles and releasing the stuff, especially Gogeta. That'll probably be the couple days before the release, so that way, you know, I want to make it fair. You know, my deck is definitely not going to be the only deck that's going to be out there, but for mine, I want to release these fun ones out and then get to that one. And then basically for this guy, for this deck, I would say definitely the pros is, like I said, very hyper aggro, very pretty quick, very low cost. Everything's very low cost. For the memes, right? That's a huge pro. It's Hercule. That's another pro. Let's just get that one out the way. And you know, it's a really good best one deck. I feel like I don't know if there's anything as far as a best of 3 here. But yeah, the cons, it does lose to a lot of blockers. There are answers for that in this deck, and that's really good, I think. But the deadly defenders are going to give you quite a hard time, and yes, it is pretty good when it comes to getting over different things and making them combo out. But the deadly defenders and barrier blockers, stuff like that, even Vegito, if they get Vegito out and you haven't ended the game by then, because this is really a turn 4, turn 5 deck, you really are gonna have a hard time. And there is no chain attack Zeno in this, even though it's red. There's not really a way to get around that, so just consider those things. And the cons is, I mean, that's really the only thing. I mean, honestly, I don't really see there's too many cons. Maybe consistency issues, but that's like half the fun as far as RNG and randomness goes, but that's what I really consider. So let's start building out the deck, because this is so aggro. We're gonna get all the aggro pieces first, but let me just get into the leader first. So the first thing for the leader, if you haven't seen the Draft Box Hercule, which I really don't see too many Hercule decks. There was one or a couple out there that I saw, and I was just like, "Ooh, that sounds like fun." So I made my own version. So shout out to you guys making your own decks. But really, I really have not seen too many content creators making him, especially for set 5, and then not too many, of course, competitive nature. Like, I'm sure you can make this competitive. It's just, you know, it's Hercule, so it's just such a liability. Oh, that's the other con. His leader is a liability. Like, the leader power is such a liability. It is just such a terrible time when they go all out on your leader. Anyway, that's why he's a glass cannon. Anyway, so the leader effect is 2 different things on either side. So the leader effect is activate battle once per turn, just like the other Hercule that we have in set 4, or the World Tournament, that is. And his activate battle, so it's not auto, it's not anything like that. His activate battle only during your turn. If it was both turns, this would be pretty busted, and it actually made sense. And I think that's why they went ahead and went with the other Hercule, the red one, instead of the green. And also after image technique with the red Hercule, oof, that's gonna be pretty good. Anyway, so this, if it's your turn, look at the top 2 cards from the top of the deck. If there are any of the battle cards, if there are any battle cards, you may choose to combo with them. then place the remaining in the drop area. So there are only 4 extra cards in this deck, so you're almost always gonna get 2 cards to combo with. And if you don't, then that's fine. I would highly recommend to, when mulliganing for this leader, always mulligan for at least 1 counter. So that way, not only to protect your leader, but also to get that out of the way, so that way you have less variance, because that's a huge thing for this. And then 4 or less, you you may draw 2 cards and flip this over. So this activate main. So this activate main, not battle. If it was activate battle, it would be busted. And yet, they didn't do it that way. Once per turn, place all of your cards in the drop area, and this is all the cards you can activate with no cards in hand. You have to have at least 1. And then this gains a 50,000 power for the duration of the turn. If you place 5 or more cards in the drop area with a skill, it gains triple strike for the duration of the turn. So this is pretty much the game ender if you can. If not, then whatever. It's not that big of a deal. It still gains 50k, and if you draw into a Champa, or if you played a Champa or something like East Kai on the board and then combo with it, that's still a thing. I've done that once and it was pretty funny. So, you know, like 50 or 60,000 double strike, that's still pretty strong. Anyway, but 5 or more, which is quite a lot, gains triple strike, and then when this card attacks, you draw 1 card. So one of the plays that I will say before I get into the actual deck is that you swing with the leader or another card. So this doesn't only apply to the leader itself, but it does apply to any cards on your field. So if you swing with, let's say, Intensifying Power Trunks, and then look at the top 2, and you got 4 or less life, you can go ahead and do that. Awaken, draw 2 during the activate battle / combo step, and then combo out for whatever you want. So that's a play that I usually do to get some more card advantage, especially mid game, and it helps a lot. So let's talk through a few different things. The first thing is defensive stance Vegeta. So don't forget your super combos before anything else, when building a deck. We went with the one with the 4 or less. Oh wait, this is the wrong one. Yeah, this is Sparking 5, my bad. We went with the one, oh, it's right there. Originally I went with the one with Vegeta for Sparking 5, but then I started realizing with the Dimension Support Trunks, which is what we play in this, 4 or less is a lot better, especially since you're gonna be at 4 or less. Like this leader, since you're at 1k power, not 10k, and 5k power, not 15,000, you are going to be at 4 or less life pretty quick. So this is very, very good, not only for when you use the top 2, you still get the 10k boost for whatever you get, and then you get that draw for 4 or less. You're gonna get that draw. It's just it just happens. Knowing that, and knowing that we don't really take advantage of the sparking, we do use the Dimension Support Trunks, and then the new Yamcha, where he is a 20k body, and being red, he is really good for energy if you draw into him. And he's just a 20k body early in the game. Like, just for 1 energy, he gains critical. And then this coupling with the top 2, in which we play 7 Champas, it is pretty busted. So let's look up the Champas real quick. So we play 3 of these. Whoops, East. And then 4 of the East. It's just because he has 2. So if you want to hardcast him, like I was saying before, and then play him from the field, you can do that. So because you are looking at 2 top cards, you're going to be running into either these 2 for double strike, which is what you're trying to do with the critical, not only for Dimension Support Trunks, but also for the other things that we play, which is the Intensifying Power Trunks and Newfound Power. So both of these guys are clutch AF because they're 10k power, take life, and critical. So you're getting a card, getting closer to awakening and getting more cards, and you know, pushing for critical and the top 2 cards basically. And since you play 7 Champas, you're gonna get double strike one time or another. And if you don't, then you probably have it in your hand, and that's always good too. So these guys end with this guy, and not only that, but don't forget Unbreakable, and the combo cost you don't pay for. So when you do this, you don't pay for the combo cost. A lot of people have that confused, but it doesn't specify it, so you don't have to. So whoops, and I keep doing it. Infernal Villainy Cell. So these are pretty much your draw pieces in which you will see them in the top two, or you will draw into them, and either one is pretty okay. You don't really want to you don't really want to use your energy too much on their side, but it can come in clutch to protect your leader, especially since the 10k combo can get over a leader swing. So one that has the unawakened side and draw for a card and swing, you can kind of defend with that, but you don't really want to do that. You just want to keep it in the deck so that way you look at the top two, and you want to wait until the end, or the real end, like 2 or 3 life, in order to awaken, so that way you can keep using this man or that side. So that's pretty much it as far as the aggressive sort of engine goes. Like if we take a look at it real quick, like your plan is to use these guys in the early stages. You just got to be careful what you charge. Sometimes it is, like, again, a variance issue where it's just you might get a green and open up a green, but no newfound power, but you do have intensifying power trunks, or you open up with the intensifying power trunks but no red to charge, which is kind of crazy. But you do want to open up with one of these guys so that way you can start out the pressure and your draw power and critical. So that's the main sort of thing. I don't think that we really missed anything. The only other thing that we do add is Mira. Mira at a 1 is just about right. I had him at 2 before, but it was a little cloggy. I didn't really want to see him too much. I just wanted him in the hand, so that way I can kind of end out the game whenever I need to, because you could use him swing and look at the top 2 and then awaken, and then if they somehow, some way defend them against themselves, you can go ahead and just use the leader effect. So it's still pretty good. Now the thing about this is the defense and the alternative win con. So that's a win con, and the whole and sort of thing is just beating down the hell out of the opponent as much as you can, and that's like that's the whole win con for it. But the defense part is, of course, the shocking power or shocking death ball new counter. So this one is the counter attack. Your leader card is green, negate the attack, and then choose one of your opponent's battle cards with two or less and KO it. This helps a lot with free blockers. That's something that really kind of goes around this deck, but with this card it helps a lot. Tapping out for Champa or Breakable or Newfound Power or whatever early on, this really helps too. I would highly recommend to keep your life count as high as possible in order to use this, because you will have Sparking 5 after milling the top 2 and going over and over again. Additionally, where is she? Videl. So I do play 2 Videls for more red, because it's just better that way for the negate. The only thing I was going for was the shocking death ball for negates. That didn't really work out too well when I needed it. So having Videl, not only for her being a battle card in combo with, so that way it's not really dead, but also having your hand with more red than green, it helps a lot with the negates. So as far as more defense, I can never spell bodyguard. I can never spell bodyguard. It's like one of those words where it's just I'm just dumb. Bodyguard Logic. So this guy is pretty good because people will always attack your 1-drops. They will never attack the leader, which is just kind of funny to me. They're always like, oh wait, that's a threat, I need to get rid of it. So Bodyguard Logic is one of those things where, you know, if your board is clear, especially in the early game, or if you're going second and they play something, you play the Bodyguard Logic, you play the 1-drops, and you go for a game, or you go for pressure. And Bodyguard Logic does definitely help out against the leader or for the leader, so that way you don't die too easily. Also, Justice, oops, Diamond Justice is actually really good in this. Not only that it has a 3 or less KO, but again, the free blockers and just blockers in general, and just threats on the board really are kind of really fucking annoying when playing this deck. So having him as a free, technically, with the leader effect, again, if you look at the top 2 and see him, he has a 1 cost, but then you play him for combo, and then you get to KO something pretty much for free. So that is super strong, super effective, and I love it. And it's just really good. And lastly is Kaba. So this is the last card, but pretty much in the deck. And the reason why I added him is because, again, negates and everything. People love to say negates for later, and that's just a preference thing. I highly recommend to do that too in a lot of different matchups. But because of that, and because you have so much red, a lot of the time is that you have the Kaba for 3 or 4 energy. You play them out, and then if they're at 2, 1, whatever life, they kept taking it because they couldn't combo out, which is a lot of the time. You can go ahead and swing with Kaba. They can't negate even with the sparking negates either. And then you can go ahead and use Champa, Iskai. You can use the leader effect and to awaken and wait for that. That's usually what I do. You can use your super combos, which sometimes I use early on because people just like love beating down Hercule. Just leave the man alone. Look at him. He's Super Saiyan. My man is Super Saiyan right now. What other human can go Super Saiyan? Nobody. Only the champ. And he's just a really good alternative win con. So I would highly recommend to keep him around in your hand at least. Make sure you don't really mill him out. If you do, then well, you have all this other stuff to use, right? So pretty awesome deck. I really love running it. Like I haven't had this much fun in a deck in a long while. Like I love Gogeta, I love Shenron, I love the Shenron leaders, I love androids. I always will. But with this deck, it is just so much fun. Like seeing people's reactions as far as like, oh okay, that is the top 2. Oh okay, I guess I take 2 life critical. Oh okay, I'm taking 2 life critical again. Oh okay, I probably shouldn't have I shouldn't have tapped out there. Yeah, that's pretty much it, man. So yeah, definitely check out this deck. Let me go ahead and cut to the Friday night fights real quick. You can go, I'll put a timestamp. You can watch the whole thing if you want to. Later. Take life. Ooh, looking good.
Blue green overall.
That hand sure looks like a hand.
Yeah, man. Ooh, that's what we're talking about. Boop. There you go. 30,000 double strike critical. Oh, that's what we want to see, baby. Yeah, we'll go ahead and keep thinning it out. Who's drinking right now? Who is doing this right here?
I don't know, but he's probably a really cool guy.
Oh my god.
Oh, it's that asshole.
Leader.
Whoa.
Oh.
Whoa. Wow. Okay. That was rude.
How I see it.
35,000 double strike critical.
That was the rudest thing I've ever heard.
Alright. Yo, if you're milling me out, I'm taking you with me. Pass. And there you go. So that's some short gameplay. I mean, it's not the whole thing. Again, you can watch the whole thing. I feel pretty bad playing that deck against that one, against that deck. But I mean, Janemba kind of like, I think if you play it right, Janemba can like easily beat this deck. It's just like like I said, it's the surprise factor. I feel like it's definitely a surprise factor. And shout out to Super Guy. Sorry about that. But if anything, definitely go check that out. Let me know what you think about the deck. Let me know what you have as far as in mind for Hercule or for set 5 in general. Let's keep the deck profiles going. I will. If you have any ideas or anything like that you want to showcase, let me know. And subscribe if you're new, because I got a lot of other stuff coming. Like, dislike, comment. I'm super hungry. I'm gonna watch some Pokemon app openings. I've been doing that a lot. If you're still here, I'll see you in the next one. Bye!